Hi everyone, it's almost Game Awards 2024, December 12th, and I've been looking through the different nominees and I find out that there is one of the best games of this year is not even nominated. And of course I'm talking about Banishers Ghost of New Eden, and this video mostly will be about Banishers, but by the way, I've been playing this game for almost 1 year, and you can even see it's not an advertising video. It's you can even see different videos on Banishers on my channel. First 1 hour of gameplay in the release date. So by the way, before we start, I've been looking through different nominees for Game Awards that's almost here this year, and several few words about Game Awards this year because it's something extremely terrible. I've been looking through best role-playing games because Banishers is definitely one of the best role-playing games ever made. I'm not only talking about this year. And what can we see in best RPGs of that year? Dragon's Dogma 2. That's not the bad game, but game with a terrible optimization, one of the worst optimizations, even after several patches this year. And by the way, in Dragon's Dogma 2, it's an okay story, there are some interesting lore in that game, but calling this game one of the best role-playing games of that year? Really? Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree. Okay, let's talk about Souls-likes. Miyazaki simply just doing the same game every single year. Every new after Dark Souls 3, every single new game except for maybe Sekiro, it was completely the same game with the same mechanics, several new secrets, but core mechanic is completely the same. Gameplay loop is completely the same. And we're not even talking about Elden Ring, we're talking about Elden Ring DLC. Game itself was released a year ago, even if I remember correctly, yes, it was released previous year, and maybe even more, I don't remember exactly for now. But for 2024 best role-playing game, DLC is to be nominated. DLC, it's not bringing some new core mechanics. Core gameplay is the same, it's only just a DLC addition to the game. And okay, if we're talking about DLCs, where is Seasons for Division 2? Storybound Iron Kina is a wonderful new season for Division 2. Phantom Liberty for Cyberpunk 2077. It's a wonderful DLC with tons of new core elements that change in gameplay, like for example races or new implants that change in the game literally, and other different core mechanics that were rebuilt in Phantom Liberty DLC. Or Gold Road DLC for Elder Scrolls Online, wonderful DLC with completely brand new system where you can simply just create your own skills in the game. Again, new core mechanic. It's more RPG, it's better DLCs in terms of everything in comparison with Shadow of Erdtree. Or for example, if we are talking about DLCs, Shattered Spade DLC for Starfield, that again brought a lot of handcrafted content with tons of new lore, tons of new conversations with followers connected with the main game events, tons of new stories about Varun and Varun Kai in general. You can see, by the way, my overview of that DLC on my channel, link will be in the description, of course. It's a very lore-enriched DLC with tons of beautiful new mechanics, some gameplay elements, etc, etc. And we can see only Shadow of the Erdtree for the best role-playing game of 2024? Seriously? Just DLC, not the game? Again, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I can see that still it's just a remake of the old game, still remakes, it's some sort of a new games, I'm okay with that. Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, Yakuza, Like a Dragon, one of the best role-playing games of the year, turn-based trash, literally. Trash, I mean like a genre, not a trash like a garbage, because it's a trashy comedic game and it's one of the best role-playing games of the year? Really? That's piece of comedy with turn-based fighting. By the way, Call of Duty is more role-playing games than Yakuza. Okay, and where is Dragon Age Wellguards? Literally the best RPG game of that year with tons of lore, with all the answers from the Dragon Age Origins to Inquisition, answered. We've got tons of new lore. We've got all the simply all the answers we wanted from the previous games. We've got them answered. All the questions we've got them answered with tons of new lore, with wonderful story, with alive companions. Every companion with different choices, with different stories. Every story is alive. Like for example, stories from Cyberpunk 2077. Literally the same atmosphere, even some of the stories are much better. Also, world with tons of different secrets. Every single rock in this world, like a Remnant 2, is a secret you can unravel and discover. Or, for example, Star Wars Outlaws, very grounded story into very familiar, very similar to Endor TV series, without Jedis or Siths, etc., without no Force users or lightsabers. Simply just very grounded story again, some sort of Watch Dogs meets Tomb Raider series. Game is literally like a combination of that two very famous series. Again, with tons of different interesting RPG elements. By the way, you can also see my overview of that game, very detailed overview of different mechanics and how Ubisoft been developing this game for a year. Where's that games? In Game Awards 2024. Best role-playing games, Yakuza and Elden Ring's DLC? Really? Okay, let's come next. Best community support, Baldur's Gate 3. Okay, I'm completely okay with that. Fortnite, not for me to judge. Final Fantasy XIV, okay, wonderful game, very good support. Where's Elder Scrolls Online with its wonderful support and its great online? Online is very big in this game, and the latest two DLCs, Necrom and Gold Road, are one of the most sold DLCs ever in the history of Elder Scrolls Online. Helldivers 2, best community support. Games that almost lost its online due to worst support ever. Due to the periods where we've got almost no content at all in the game. Game lost 90% of its online player base. I even created a video about this. It's currently pinned on the main page of my channel. No Man's Sky, okay, it's quite a good game with quite good development. Another best supported game, Destiny 2 Final Shape, DLC for $100 with episodes, Bungie renamed their seasons, raised in price from $10 to $15, with simply no new mechanics at all since Forsaken and Witch Queen DLC, with almost everything completely the same like it was in the previous DLCs, for one with storyline for 4 or 5 hours. That costs you $100. It's one of the best supported games with tons of glitches, bugs, unplayable bugs. You can check Cheese Forever channel on YouTube. He is recording all the glitches and bugs, unplayable glitches and bugs, almost 2 or 3 days. That's coming to Destiny, and they're not patched for weeks or even months. Every 2 or 3 days, new bugs and glitches. And Destiny 2 is one of the most supported, one of the best supported games? The Final Shape DLC, really? Okay, Diablo 4 Vessel of Hatred, good DLC. New DLC Final Fantasy XIV, Helldivers 2, again, no comments because it's just a bluff, literally. And the only nomination Dragon Age The Veilguards got with its wonderful characters, one of the most lore-enriched games ever created. In the whole game industry, just nominated for innovation in accessibility. Dragon Age The Veilguards, and the same for Prince of Persia The Lost Crown. Wonderful game with one of the best mysteries and different jumping activities ever created in the game history. It's only in accessibility sphere. So you can see, it's the Game Awards of this year. It's just a freaking madness. And the most important thing, again, okay, Star Wars Outlaws is also nominated for Wembley Gonzalez. Sorry if I pronouncing her name or surname wrong. Main actress of Kay West, she also nominated for Best Actor, in this year. But also, what's more important, we need to talk about Game of the Year, main nominee of Game Awards this year. Astro Bot! It's freaking nominated for Game of the Year. It's just a jumping platformer. It's pre-installed demo that was pre-installed on all PlayStation consoles for quite a while, and after that Sony decided to just upgrade this to develop in a little ways this pre-installed demo, like all the cards games on Windows system. They just developed it for quite a little, and they just decided to release it like a single like a full game. And it's nominated for a Game of the Year. Not Banishers, not again. Even Elden Ring DLCs Elden Ring's DLC is nominated for Game of the Year. But other good games like Diablo 4 Vessel of Hatred, again DLC. Okay, let it be DLC. Other games, even Yakuza looks better than Astro Bot. It just pre-installed Sony's demo that was developed for a game, just a jumping platformer. So where is Prince of Persia The Lost Crown then? Literally better in every single way, with a good story, with a good lore, with a wonderful jump puzzles. Astro Bot is one of the Game of the Years. Balatro is just a poker roguelike in the game. I'm okay with indie games being nominated, but Balatro is a Game of the Year, but Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown, The Veil Guards, and other games are not. Okay, Black Myth Wukong, quite a good game. It's based on the book Journey to the West. Quite a good game. Completely okay with that. But again, Elden Ring's DLC. Game of the Year, not DLC of the Year. It's nominated for the Game of the Year. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, again, classic, remake of classic. You can feel anything about this game, but again, it's a complete new game. It's a full new game. It's not just a DLC, it's a remake. That's a lot of things were remade in this game from the beginning. So again, no problems about that. But all the other nominees, they're simply just some sorts of madness, and especially what the hell did Destiny 2 DLCs forget at the Game Awards. And again, DLC's been nominated for the Game of the Year. It's a completely madness in all the ways. So yeah, here it is, Game Awards of that year. And now let's talk about Banisher's Ghost of New Eden. By the way, it's a wonderful game, one of the most atmospheric games I've ever played. It's literally, you might remember Witcher 3 The Wild Hunt, one of the best role-playing games ever created in the gaming industry, and it's literally The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, but much darker and without some problems that even CD Projekt Red confirmed that there were problems in The Witcher 3, and they tried even to solve those problems, gear repairing, that even CD Projekt Red accepted that it was a great deal, it was a great problem, slowing the exploring of that world. So they tried to implement Grandmaster's repairing kits in the game, but still it wasn't something great, because you, in single-player offline game, you needed all the time to check your gear level and to repair your gear, and so you simply, if you've missed some repairing, you would get much more damage from the environment that stopped you and prevented you from exploring the world. Or for example, fallen damage, that Witcher, one of the strongest mutants in that world, literally the mutant that killed dragons and different some sorts of, let me tell, demons, because it's quite complicated. I won't tell. It's not a video about lore of Witcher universe. Maybe I'll make another video on the term. So simply just that strongest mutant, even on different flasks and potions, simply just died from falling from 3 meters on the ground. So fallen damage was one of the worst problems in Witcher 3 exploration. And of course, item level scaling that literally prevented you from playing with the gear you wanted. For example, I've looted a sword on level 20. I wanted to keep playing with a sword, for example, on level 40, but I simply couldn't afford to do that, because there is no way to raise a level of your item. And items are scaling. For example, the same sword on level 20 and the same sword on level 40 are doing different type different amount of damage. So that was a very great problem. So Banishers, it's literally a darker version of Witcher 3. Even gameplay wise, it's more Witcher 2. In some ways, it's an open world, but with some linear parts of that world. So it's still an open world. You can explore it in any way how you want. It's not a non-linear world, but some parts, some locations of that world, they are quite linear, like it was in Witcher 3 Assassins of the Kings. By the way, also a wonderful game. Definitely do check that game. But this game has and had a very big problem. It's just a terrible PR, because there was some trailers about Banishers, but in mass media's difference, they want a wave of PR in this game. It was just several trailers and several posts in social media, and it's all. And even after the release of that game, don't know the developers of the game, they literally skipped the whole PR and the whole... they didn't even try to show the game to the people. They simply just launched it like a regular indie game. It's not an indie game. It's a game with tons of different, very beautiful, very expensive textures, very expensive animations. It's a very big scale game. Again, it's the scale of a Witcher 2, even like a Witcher 2 even with a half. So it's like a Witcher 3 without DLCs. It's quite a big scale game. It's quite a big scale of a game. And developers simply just skip the whole PR thing. They just, like already told you, simply just release several trailers, and here it is, here is the game, just simply play it with no additional PR support after the release of the game, because it's very important after the release of the game to keep supporting your game, not only in developing the game itself, like an engine, new mechanics, new quests, etc., etc. It's also very important to keep PRing your game, because without PR, it's just imagine Call of Duty without additional seasons, without additional trailers, without additional articles on IGN, my favorite, and other mass media, without all that stuff. And Banisher's PR was literally terrible, because very little people knew about this game, and it's, like I already told you, one of the best RPG games ever created. Yes, Shadow of the Earth 3 and Yakuza Like a Dragon, due to the Game Awards. Another very strong thing of Banishers, now we'll talk about different pluses of the game and very strong aspects of the Banishers Ghost of New Eden, is of course exploration. And exploration in this game is extremely wonderful. You simply just roaming around this beautiful world. You find different secrets, you find different stories, different quests, different side quests. By the way, all the quests in this game, I will talk about choices a little bit later, but every single quest in this game has different outcomes, endings, with tons of different choices, and your choices affecting the story and this whole world state in a lot of ways. Like again, it was in Witcher 2 Assassins of the Kings. By the way, in Witcher 2 there were much more choices affecting the world than in Witcher 3. So again, I highly advise you to play Witcher 2 if you've skipped this wonderful game. So in exploration, it's not only different quests and stories, but also different lore books you can find around this world to know how this world is working, how different aspects of this world is working. Because yes, Banishers in this world, they're not just witchers who are just hunting ghosts. There are some darker forces in this world, and there are different types of ghosts, different types of different creatures and monsters. And all these creatures and monsters, they're not just existing in this world. There are some rules of that world. And every single ghost of that world, it's connected and working and living according to that world rules. And that world rules, like for example, it was in Dragon Age series, in Dragon Age Inquisition, one of the best examples, they are explained in the most beautiful way possible. So everything is detailed, everything is described very detailed, so you literally understand how this world works. Again, very good example, Wheel of Time series. Again, I'm talking about only TV series. We're just watching this this very beautiful, extremely expensive series with wonderful actors and actresses, and it's simply not working because there are different storylines that simply not working together. The overall lore of that world is simply not working together. Just random stories that not combining together. The same with recent Call of Duty Black Ops 6. Very beautiful different missions with diverse gameplay, but these missions, the story of that missions and lore of that world in Black Ops 6, it's not working. It just simply making no sense in combination one with each other, with another. And about Banishers, all the lore stories, all the exploration, all the locations, even locations here, different textures, armor or weapons, how they looks like, the description, everything tells a story. So exploration also, it's not just collecting lore books and doing side quests, it's also different, of course, activities. There are some mysteries, quite difficult mysteries. They are very reminding me of tomes from Shadow of Tomb Raider, and it's literally tomes where you need to combine different spells, different skills of your characters. By the way, you are playing like two characters. It's Banishers, Red Macred and Antea, and these two characters, one of them is a human, a live human, Red Macrae, and Antea Duarte, she is a ghost, but she is a Banisher, same time. Banishers are the people who doing something with ghosts. We'll talk about it a little bit later. So it's a very ironic situation where you are playing like a ghost who is also a banisher, and banishers are the people who are fighting with ghosts. So you're playing like these two characters, and these two characters, they are using different skills, and the combination of that skills, ghost skills and human skills with different weapons, muskets, rapiers, swords, pistols, etc., it's working wonderfully. And these tomes I've been talking about, some sort of tomes and mysteries in Lara Croft style. They're requiring you to use all your skills of both your characters, all your skills, all the skills you have, and to be very careful about what you're doing and where you're doing. So you literally need to sit here and to think for quite a while to understand what you need to do and where you need to do that particular skill and where you need to use that particular skill. So it's a it's different, very interesting activities, and every single activity, it's not just an activity for you to shoot somewhere or to loot something. It's an activity where you need to sit for a while and to think for a while. So game doesn't count you like just a stupid player. It's giving you an opportunity to solve different puzzles, and these puzzles are quite complicated, but they're not complicated enough for you to stuck there for months and to go to the internet and to find for some guides. You will be completely able to find solutions for yourself. They're not that difficult, but still they're not that easy for you to skip them, and they're very engaging. You just come here and you understand that every new single puzzle in the open world, it's a new journey you will come through, and it's really engaging. It's not just an open world with same activities. Every single even activity from the same type of activity, for example, from that mysteries, from the tomes I've been talking about, every single new tome is a new activity, by the way, like it was with Isu tomes in Assassin's Creed Valhalla, when every single tome was like a new journey that you've never experienced previously in the game. And the same for story. Story in Banishers Ghost of New Eden is wonderful. It's a story about two Banishers, Antea Duarte and Red Macrae, and they arriving into New Eden, one of the American cities, only built, one of the American settlements, only developing settlements. And by the way, who are Banishers? Banishers, they are some sorts of detectives. By the way, Banishers is mostly a detective story than regular action story. You are solving different mysteries and trying to understand who is to blame for and who is the one to blame and who is the innocent victim. And banishers are some sort of Witcher detectives who are just trying to understand hunting, chasing ghosts and hunting ghosts, and trying to understand why ghosts are staying in this world. By the rules of that world, ghosts are not staying in this world, in the present our human world, if not something keeping them. So banishers are the people who are just finding ghosts and trying to understand what's keeping ghosts in that world, and trying to either banish them if they are guilty, or send them to help ghosts find peace in their lives. And again, Antea Duarte and Red McRae, they arriving into this new Eden City, settlement better to say, and they're trying to understand one of the ghost presence mysteries, and they are revealing very dangerous truths and something happening to Antea. It's not a big spoiler because it's not a spoiler at all, because by the way, it's on the wallpaper, all the main wallpapers of the game, and it was in all trailers of the game. Antea, something happens to Antea. She is dying, and she's coming. She manifesting in the Red's in the human world like a ghost, and they are both an alive human, Red McRae, and now a ghost, previously banisher, Antea Duarte. They need to understand what is happening to the whole New Eden and the whole this region they are in currently, and they're trying either to save Antea or to help her ascend to find her peace. Yes, in this game, like in all Don't Nod games, almost all Don't Nod games, there are tons of different choices. And even in the main storyline, little spoiler, you will need to choose. You want to help Antea to be human again, you want to resurrect Antea like a human, or you simply just want to help her ascend, so after the main storyline she will be simply just find peace, and she will just walk away, and Red will never see her again. So again, it's very difficult choices, because protagonists, they're very, very alive, they're very developed, and during every even single side quest, they keep developing themselves. So you see how they're reacting to something, so you see how they're commenting different, even regular aspects of the world. And every single phrase, it's not just a phrase to be written, it's a new phrase that keep developing characters in different ways. So you see characters behind your protagonist. It's not just a protagonist you are playing, you are pressing buttons. It's an alive protagonist you are following, and you are trying to understand. And you can either support this character or deny his or do not agree with his or her choices. So again, they are very, very developed and alive. In most of the modern games, protagonists and characters, they simply just dummies you are playing with that are not developed enough. But in Banishers, they are very, very alive, and you literally see the characters behind your protagonist. And the story coming to new ways. Again, it's in some ways it will be mostly like in Witcher 2, where some choices will completely change the direction you are playing, and in some ways even change the locations you are visiting, like it was in Act 2 of Witcher 2 Assassin of the Kings, where choosing one of the sites will completely change the whole Act 2 locations. So some players were coming to one locations, and other players were coming to completely another locations, and Act 2 were completely different for two players choosing two different sites. So there will be some same aspects of Banishers, very similar to that. So there are tons of different choices, and every single choice in every single even side quest really matters, affecting something, and affecting your overall experience and affecting the whole world. And of course, music. Ambient in this game is wonderful. I've spent so many times, so many even hours simply just launching the game, and I wanted to play several side quests, but I simply just launched the game and I stayed in the location, simply just staying, even not trying, even not pressing any buttons, simply just sitting and listening to ambient. Music is wonderful, and music it's not just music is not just good at helping you to understand the world. Music is telling its own story. Very good orchestral recordings, and every single ambient and sometimes songs, they fit in the situation, and not only fitting, they even developing the situations even more. I won't show you this music because sadly we're on YouTube and there are some sorts of copyright strikes even for using music even in gameplay, so you can easily find it by yourself, but trust me, you won't regret listening to that music. It's one of the games where music is working, it's not only fitting the whole overall atmosphere, it's developing atmosphere even further. An overall atmosphere, like I already told you, it's literally a darker version of Witcher 3 or Witcher 2 with more detective storyline, when every single quest, side quest, main quest is literally a detective case you need to reveal, you need to solve, with an opportunity in every single quest either to blame human and to kill human, either guilty or not. By the way, you have a choice to blame and to kill even both guilty and both innocent people and ghosts, etc., etc. But also you can ascend ghosts, like I already told you, or banish ghosts. For them it's the same like a punishment to ghost, and ascending ghost it's the same like, for example, it's the same like accepting that ghost is innocent. In every single even side quest you have such opportunity. And of course, what's a good RPG game without bosses? And bosses in this game, they are more, let me say, Bloodborne-like style in terms of visuals, but even in terms of mechanics, they're very, very interesting encounters, and every single boss, especially on higher difficulties, requires you to be quite good in terms of both understanding your mechanics and mechanics of both your mechanics, I mean different aspects of your skills, how your skills working, what skill doing is, what each particular your skill is doing. For example, some of the skills can interrupt particular enemy attacks, and to understand how your overall build is working, because yes, in this game there are different items and you can even make your own build. By the way, I think I will make a build on Banisher's Ghost of New Eden. So boss is also a very good encounter that's also giving you quite a lot of challenge, even if you're playing on story difficulty, on the lowest difficulty. But if you are playing on harder difficulty, of course it will give you even more challenge, and this challenge is it's not something extremely difficult like some of the bosses in Shadow of the Earth 3 that are literally unplayable before patch, right? But they are quite complicated still and quite difficult, but they're difficult enough for you to be interested in fighting with them, but they're not difficult enough for you to angry just throwing your computer or your controller into a wall. And also Banisher's Ghost of New Eden is a part of Don't Nod universe, because there were some other games from Don't Nod, like example Vampire, also very great game, very interesting game about London, about vampire doctor who is fighting with his inner itself, either to be a doctor and not kill innocents, or to become a vampire and to sacrifice everything he believed in, being a doctor, helping innocents, and to start feeding on innocents. Also very good game with a very, with not, let me say it's in a more calm way, with a not great ending, because with that wonderful game with interesting stories, different interesting questions about origin of empires, etc., etc., everything led to simply just religion. Everything was described by religion. There were no even clue about religion in the mid-game and in the beginning of the game, but all the questions at the end of the game were simply just answered with a statement like, it's everything based on religion, just believe it's true. So it was some sort of it's not the greatest ending. It's even in some ways it's even bad ending. I'm not talking about ending you choose. I'm talking about ending overall, because in terms of the game is giving you, no matter what you choose, game is giving you some answers, and all the answers in the end of the game simply just connected with religion without no additional exploration. I'm completely okay with religion like main lore behind some aspects of the game, but in that game everything was very rough in terms of description, and everything was made like it was created in the last few minutes before the release of the game. So religion there, like an explanation of the vampire's origin, simply not working, because it's simply not making sense, especially with the previous events of the game. So vampire is also, events of the vampire in some ways are mentioned in Banisher's Ghost of New Eden, so it's some sort of one universe of Don't Not universe. And it's a game much better than Vampire, of course, much bigger scale. It's literally, like I already told you many times in that particular video, it's literally the darker version of Witcher 3 or Witcher 2, even maybe Witcher 2 in most of the ways, like you can already understand from that video. And in most of the aspects, it's a wonderful game, but with not very great PR. It's wonderful atmosphere, interesting protagonist, wonderful story, just ambience that fits in the atmosphere and even making atmosphere much better. Tons of different mysteries around the world. By the way, world is alive with tons of different activities, interesting activities, and every single activity is just like a new additional journey that you are experiencing and living through. So in all the terms, this game is literally wonderful. And this game is not even nominated for Game Awards. But Astrobot, roguelike, poker, pre-installed demo of PlayStation, trash comedy, turn-based, and DLCs are nominated for this year's Game of the Year. Thank you guys for watching this video. Don't forget to click like button and subscribe for channel if you want more videos like this. Check out different guides, builds on our channel, like Horizon 2 Forbidden West guides and builds, Assassin's Creed series guides, builds, overviews, lore recaps, Dragon Age The Veilguards guides and builds, and many others, Elder Scrolls Online news and guides and builds. And as always, I will see you in the next video. Good luck!